You can see it, the version of you who wrote the book, who launched the business, who finally got in shape, learned the language, made the call. You can see it so clearly it almost feels real. And you've seen it for years. You research, you plan, you buy the notebook, the course, the equipment, you tell people what you're about to do. And then, nothing. The tab stays open, the draft stays empty, the idea stays an idea. Most people assume this is laziness or bad discipline, or that you just don't want it enough. But that's not quite right, and the real reason is far stranger and far more protective than laziness ever could be. Because starting isn't the thing you're avoiding, finding out who you actually are is. In 1984, psychologist Martin Covington proposed something called the self-worth theory of achievement motivation. He'd spent years studying why capable students avoided trying, even when trying was clearly in their interest. His answer? In a world that measures your worth by your ability, not trying is a shield. As long as you never attempt something, no one, including you, can prove you weren't capable of it. Here's the mechanism. Right now, you could write the book is a fact that costs you nothing. It lives in the future tense, it's undefeated. The moment you actually sit down and write the first real page, that fact changes tense. It becomes measurable. It can now be judged, and so can you. So some part of your mind, quietly, protectively, keeps the tab closed, keeps the notebook blank, because a blank page still contains every possible book. A written page only contains one, and it might not be good enough. But there's a second layer to this, and it's even stranger. In 1978, researchers Stephen Berglas and Berglas Jones described something called self-handicapping. People, given the choice, will deliberately build obstacles into their own path, procrastinating, overcommitting, staying up too late before something important. Not because they want to fail, because if they fail, they get to blame the obstacle. And if they somehow succeed anyway, despite the obstacle, it proves they're even more talented than they thought. Either outcome protects the ego. The only outcome that doesn't is trying your honest best and finding out it wasn't enough. Which raises an uncomfortable question. If you never start, you never fail. But you also never find out what you're actually capable of. So which are you really protecting? Your potential or just the comfortable idea of it? So here's what's actually been happening every time you didn't start. You weren't lazy. You were defending a self-worth that felt too fragile to test. You weren't undisciplined. You were keeping the fact undefeated. You weren't avoiding the work. You were avoiding the verdict. Your ambition was never fake. It was real enough that losing it, even in your own eyes, felt like a risk worth avoiding entirely. But a dream you never test isn't safe. It's just unlived. And the version of you that finally starts, badly, imperfectly, on the record, is the only version that was ever actually brave.